They've got the live update section and everything you need to know about what's going on, what's happened today. You can find it there. Lumpkin's found a pair on the button.
$260, familiar territory. Oh.
Yeah, it's probably going in.
Yeah. We've got 2.6, 2.7 at the beginning of this hand. It kind of feels like that's the way things are going to go.
You think this is you think Lumpkin can make the call now?
He might. I think it's much closer than the deuces. I think he probably should call.
This dynamic feels like it's happened so many times. Oh, he's going to fold here, is he?
Wow.
Just for a minute there. It's funny. It looks like his instinct was to fold that. And then he changed his mind, but he... Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would fold fours. Three seems very close.
Well, a little morale boost, should I say, for Steve as well, just to pick one up, get himself back over the 3 million mark.
It's probably a good fold, actually.
That's the trophy they're playing for, as well as all the money. You got one of those, Steve, haven't you?
I do have one of those.
Have you put it anywhere special?
I haven't put it anywhere. No, right now it's sitting. I'm going to take it back to my parents' house and put it in my room.
So the action, Steve is going to raise to 260,000 total.
Oh.
He's got them.
That's the thing is, you just don't get this kind of commentary when you can't see the cards, whereas you can't help yourself, but you look around the table and go, uh-oh, fireworks.
Steve's favourite hand.
Yeah, and Seidel has been using the inducing sizing with these stacks, so this plays into his advantage. You know, he's going to use the same sizing, and I think Steve O'Dwyer is going to be really tempted to just take a flop, shove over a c-bet, and just get snapped off. Hopefully, for his sake, he misses the flop.
Eric in the small blind is re-raised to 625,000 total. Vitaly gives up the big blind, and action is back to Steve.
You'll notice he made it less here than he did with ace-king. I think he made it like 720 with ace-king.
How much more is it?
625.
Yeah, how much more? I'm bad at math.
I'm bad at math. That is not entirely true.
So it looks like he's thinking about the call rather than a shove, since he's asked how much more is it.
Yeah, I mean, it's 365,000 more, and his hand plays pretty well. It connects with a lot of boards.
He's in position.
He's in position, and Seidel's already shown that he's 3-bets, you know, pretty high from the small blind, so, you know, he can't really expect to be up against a premium hand. At this point, if the flop, you know, if he calls and the flop comes 9 high or 10 high or any kind of draw, he's probably just going with it.
This flop's going to be really interesting to see what comes down now.
The O'Dwyer fans can only hope it's an absolute miss. No, it's too good.
Connected.
It's too good.
Jack of diamonds. Eric is first to act.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of the best flops he's looking for, but he is ahead of ace-queen and ace-king, which might even bet call. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him shove over a c-bet here, especially given that Eric could have like ace-7 even, just be folding. I think he'd be, you know, he obviously wants to have the backdoor flush draw.
Eric leads up with 600,000 total.
But at this point, it stacks are such, he's probably just going to shove. Just not happy about it though.
I sense it's coming.
All in.
Here we go.
Steve has announced all in.
The call.
Eric makes the
Probably not
call.
good.
We go down to a showdown.
He's said it's probably not good, and he's right. He
Wish I
sees the
hadn't
bad
flipped the
news.
pair.
He's going to need to improve on the turn of the river. Otherwise, Steve O'Dwyer is going to be a third-place finisher.
All in player shows.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Steve suck out massively as he will need to do here
He has a pair of tens.
in a bad spot.
That's got an ace of spades. Ace of
He did so to win the grand final. So we know he's got it. We know he can.
Yep.
Steve is all in for 2,000,000.
See the quiet, the hush on the set.
Well, this is a really, really key moment. This is especially for all the, there's a lot of support out there physically, not just the guys watching that want Steve O'Dwyer to win. He's got a lot of his buddies here. Show me the turn. Tension building, pause.
And the turn.
Thank you. Oh, just for a minute there.
The jack of hearts.
That's not great. You can see on the percentage that just smacks Steve O'Dwyer down into
And the river
miracle land.
is the queen of spades.
And no good for Steve.
Losing Steve
Of course, the jack on the turn meant the 9 was no good for him. Couldn't find one of the 2 remaining 10s, and Steve O'Dwyer is our third-place finisher.
Yeah, unlucky. A lot of people thought that Steve was going to come back. And you certainly seen when he doubled himself up that could very much be on the cards. 355,100 euros though for his third spot. Remember, 2.4 million in the prize pool that this super high roller generated. 40 entries, 40 people, 51 entries in the end. Doesn't look very happy, but it's a pretty fine result.
And who would have thought it?
And who'd have
2
thought
oldest players at the table are heads up.
Well, I must say, I mean, you see this now. We've got 7.7 million for Eric, 5 million for Vitaly, but quite excited about this as a heads up. Actually, like, be really interesting to see what these guys do, how their styles develop.
They're deep enough that we can,
Yeah.
get some play going on. There's a lot of money at stake. It's going to be a very interesting heads-up battle, as you're saying.
What would your dream heads up been out of that final table lineup that we had there? Who would you probably have most selfishly enjoyed watching be the final 2, Steve?
Well, I definitely would have enjoyed watching Steve and Mike get heads up.
Yeah.
I would have definitely enjoyed if Tim could have made a big run, a deep run, and he plays really well. He's really tough. I would have loved to see how he played the final table.
You want people who are going to try and level each other heads up.
Well, I think this is going to be a good one. Well, guys, I'm afraid to say all the support we had for Steve has just come to a bit of a damp squib. Quite a lot, actually, of people already coming through. Don't forget hashtag EPT Live or nuts@pokerstars.tv if you want to get in touch with us. Let us know your thoughts on that. There's not really much to talk about as far as the final hand for Steve goes. It was there, destined in the cards. Which was a bit of one of the shouts of one of our viewers saying, is it going to be down to the cards? Who do you fancy now? Eric certainly has probably had more support than Vitaly, but we've watched a lot of Vitaly's play and he's been pretty rock solid. Just to answer the King of Scandinavia, who very good of him to take time off to get in touch. Is there a live stream where there's no delay? No, it's just us, and there's a media blackout. Everyone does their very best to keep what's going on in the real world hush. I accidentally nearly looked as I entered today. I nearly looked at the main event area. I thought, what am I doing?
I just avoided the room.
I just had to hide because it spoils it, and it's nice to have the genuine reaction of not knowing what's going on. But no King of Scandinavia. As you know, with all of the final tables, when we bring you the cards up, we put the delay. But not in this case.
if you need to leave the house, don't forget that the PokerStars TV app is now out and available on iOS and on Android devices, so take it with you.
Yep.
Take the final table wherever you go.
And I believe, Neil, it must be pretty ready to introduce our finalists. Give them the big up before we commence what could very well be hours of heads-up action. You just don't know.
There's still 14 minutes left on this level before they head into the next one.
Mostly Eric seems to be the one that they are, certainly our Twitter followers are getting behind.
There's another super high roller coming up. So in a few weeks' time, the EPT 10 London Poker Festival takes place in London. We're at a new venue, a shiny big new venue in Covent Garden. Well, it's not a new venue, but it's new for the EPT. And that festival takes place from October the 12th to 2nd to the 12th. And it's going to be the first ever 50k super high roller in London. We've had 25ks, we've had 10ks with single re-entries. This is the first time the 50k. Are you going to be taking part, Steve?
I'm not sure entirely what my schedule will be like, but if I go to London, I'll definitely play.
There was somebody got in touch yesterday going, I've had a great month, only another 49,000 to generate, and I'll be there with you for the super high roller. So still a little bit of time to generate that 50k buy-in.
Well, you can try generating it by playing the W coup.
Well, there's all sorts of ways to get involved, isn't there? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Lots of satellites. And of course, the biggest W coup final tables are going to be highlighted with cards face-up action. That'll be on PokerStars TV as ever.
You have the advantage over us, Steve. You actually watched more of the final table than we did because you're in with Joe and James earlier on. The way things looked as the first kind of couple of hours of play went through, are you surprised that we end up with Eric and Vitaly, or they just been having a good day?
Yeah, I mean, they just, it really comes down to winning the all-in situations, and just, a couple hands can change the way things go. I think they were just on the better end of it, and now they're heads up.
Still busy out there. The other tables you can see on your screen, obviously, is the main event getting underway.
Yeah, I think I can see Lucky Chewy right there in the green, bottom right.
Oh, that beard sticking out from the bottom right-hand corner of the screen.
Yeah. Yep.
He's playing day 1A of the main event, which kicked off.
I think I see Mad Dog, Mike Watson, the bottom left in the purple shirt.
6-spot. This is like Where's Wally or,
Yeah.
or Where's Waldo, you call it in the States.
I think that's Mike Watson there.
I'm seeing a distinct lack of sleeveless mint hoodies, so that clearly hasn't caught on as we thought.
I think
it might be.
Spot James Mitchell, the British pro there. Is that right? Former.
Good spot. Well, oh yeah, that's a tricky one.
I
Could be
think
right.
that's him.
I like it. I like this.
The guy in the yellow t-shirt looks like John Hennigan, but I don't think it is.
No, you're just making stuff up now.
Well, it does look like him. I didn't say it's him. I don't think it's him.
Just keeping half an eye on the stage, you can see that our finalists, Eric Seidel and Vitaly Lunkin,
We've
getting
actually
set up.
Sorry to interrupt. We've actually got a guy who actually does look like Wally or Waldo.
Well, it's like
Just
he looks.
without the hat.
Yeah. He's got the stripy top on him. And you can also see a little ticker-tape message. There is some exclusive interview action coming up for you when we hit the next break. As Mark said, still 14 minutes to go on this. Lots of different events as part of this festival. It's still nice and busy out there. Here's also the rest of the action for us, coming to you from this kickoff event from EPT 10. Barcelona for the next few days. You can see we have tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock through to midnight, and then the rest of your time's all the way through. Obviously, when it comes to the end of the main event, it will very much be about when we get down to the specific numbers that they want to play down to bring us back for our final table.
And of course, this is the 10th season, special 10th anniversary season on the EPT. And it all began in Barcelona here 10 years ago. And the very first winner, or the very first EPT, was a man from Sweden called Alexander Stevic. And he's currently leading day 1A of the main event at the moment.
No.
He's broken through the 100k mark.
That's spooky.
Yeah,
Have you've been plundering the blog again?
I have.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice use of the lull before the storm.
Thank you, thank you.
There you are, a little link on your screen if you do want to check out these amazing facts. Also pick up some of the interviews and follow if you tuned in. And we had a few people saying, I've just tuned in, how did Mike go out, what happened to Tim, etc., etc. Recap all of the action from today's Super High Roller final table. The final 8 came in, burst the bubble, and now we're down to our finalists. Eric Seidel, the legend, and Vitaly Lunkin, no stranger to hot results. And once they get them resettled at the main table, we'll get back to the action and then we can start the heads up. And we know from previous EPT events, it could be over in minutes, or we could be here until they turn the lights out.
A question that was asked earlier is the players spread about and move when people change, and we can see our 2 players have taken their seats, moved into a suitable position for a heads-up battle.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a bit awkward if they were sitting in the 5 and 6 seat, just constantly bumping shoulders.
I think Neil Johnson, the EPT host and live events specialist for PokerStars, is getting in position. He'll soon be on our screens to interview the final 2 players.
There she is, the beauty. Let's take you down to
And
Neil.
we're now heads up here at the Barcelona Super High Roller final table. We started today with 8, we're down to 2. With our chip lead is Eric Seidel with 7,730,000 in chips. And Vitaly Lunkin has 5,020,000 in chips. Congratulations on making it this far, gentlemen. Please shake hands, and good luck to both of you. All right, we have 15 minutes left in this level. 20,000 ante, 60,000, 120,000 on the blinds. Dealer, please shuffle up and deal.
20,000 empty.
Beautiful scenes. Please touch each other and then try and beat each other at cards. Heads up.
Russia versus the States.
Classic heads up action. And it does seem overwhelmingly the support is for Eric. Obviously it makes it a lot easier to get behind the man now he's got a chip lead, but if we learned anything in the last couple of hours, it's that this can bounce around pretty rapid. Isn't it nice to start heads up with jacks?
Lunkin's probably getting his fair amount of support, but you know, as soon as we have a couple of Russian commentators alongside us, they're probably conversing with them.
Yes, I'm sure. Don't forget, we're coming to you in about a zillion different languages. Make the best of that.
Including,
oh,
wow.
Don't you do it, boys. Come on. We're expecting millions and millions of chips back and forth of poker action. Don't you guys go too crazy. Hand 1 of heads up.
Yeah, it seems like the way Eric Seidel been playing, he definitely could through with the king-queen hand. And, I mean, it would be pretty reasonable, too. It's flopped so well. You can flop a king or a queen and just feel really comfortable with your hand.
Flop good, why don't you?
Check to the aggressor.
Yeah, Vitaly's not going to make it that easy. You got to bet for some value here, protect the hand a bit.
Yeah, very standard. Just go for 2 streets of value here. I mean,
Yeah.
ace high is going to be calling the turn. Some of the ace highs have a gutter, like the wheels, aces. Any pair.
There's a 3 of clubs.
You know, and Vitaly might feel obligated to call with his jacks here. I mean, he's probably going to call it. Seidel could easily be betting a worse pair because Vitaly's hand looks a lot like ace-10 or ace-queen. I imagine he just pays off this. If he thinks about how many worse hands he gets to the river here after checking behind the flop, you know, like a 4 or ace high, he might just feel obligated to call with jacks.
meh. Well, the rich get richer. Nearly 9 million for Eric on the back of that. First hand in heads up.
Do you find it easy to put those sort of hands behind you, Steve, if you're in Lumpkin's position, just knowing that there's nothing much you could have done?
Yeah, I mean, I think that hand is pretty standard. It's just kind of unlucky. It's like, you know, it's like a cooler in a way. The hands play themselves, and you can't really feel too bad about it.
You've just got to think long term that you're making the right decisions. Sardell from one end of the deck to the other.
Yeah. Yeah, enjoying the full spectrum of starting hands. Well, isn't poker just fun? From King, Queen and Jacks to Deuce Tray. Still lots of support coming in for Eric. But as Mark said, obviously that's just our stream. Vitaly pretty well known on the tour.
I was trying to peer over the Russian commentator's shoulders to see if there's support coming in for Lumpkin, but I have no idea what they're writing about.
Yeah, unless you're great at reading Russian, good luck with that idea.
I mean, I've got Greek down and Japanese and Mandarin, but Russian was just like a step too far.
Any other language and we'd be all over it. So it's a min raise, just trying to get the chips right. Yep.
Come on, Vitaly, you've only been playing for 3 days.
What are these red and custard ones again? Oh, my lord. Must be nice.
Someone's getting cards at the right time.
Yeah, I don't see Vitaly going too crazy with a7 here, just based on how he's been playing. But you never know. He could. I mean, he's lost a lot of momentum. He could be getting frustrated.
I don't predict a Lunkin blow up anytime too soon, but
I mean, it's really hard to continue. Your hand just doesn't, like, it's deceivingly not that great of a hand. It just doesn't flop well.
yeah, it's all too easy to get a bit hung up on having an ace heads up, isn't it? But you've
Yeah, I
got
mean,
so many streets of action to survive through if you want to get involved with these.
in these, like, 3-bet pots, playability just becomes way more important.
Is this going to be a big bonkers move if he doesn't?
And it looks like he's considering calling.
Playing with the 25s. Wondering what he's calculating here.
I mean, it's kind of odd that he's, like, mumbling. 'Cause, you know, as Seidel, it's like, well, once he starts talking, like, what does this mean he has? Does he really have a strong hand after he's...
Yeah.
Is he acting? It's, like, kind of weird. I mean, he's obviously, he's being completely genuine, but from Seidel's perspective...
Yeah, it's just almost like telling Seidel that he's got like a mid-range hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to go through this process and then come out in a very intimidating way.
I guess Seidel doesn't speak Russian though, so for all we know, he could just be being like, "I got this guy, I got this guy."
But it's just the time he's taking as well.
Yeah. I'm sure he is becoming aware of how long he's taking as well now.
Seidel's happy anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah, look at the smile on his face.
Almost.
Seidel.
It's classic Seidel.
Classic Seidel. It's gradually, just A7 is just disintegrating. It's now down in the 5 deuce area.
Still suited though at this stage.
Still suited. But it's almost like the cards should shrink the longer this goes on. This is quite strange. This is quite unlike Vitali, isn't it? I don't think we've seen him really do anything like this. All in.
All in. Oh my word.
I caught.
Whoa.
Whoa.
What?
I was not expecting that.
Oh, there was me saying we weren't expecting a Vitali blow up.
This could be it.
Wow, I'm absolutely shocked by that.
It's hard sometimes when he's just getting, he's just losing pots, he's just lost his momentum, he's just getting
you
run over. You
called it.
feel like Seidel has just been 3-betting him and just, smashing him. So he finally decides to take a stand, but his hand just doesn't play that well in this situation.
We could be crowning a champion in 5 cards time.
Did not expect that at all.
We go to the floor.
Well, Eric will feel absolutely hideously hard done by this flop.
Oh!
Slunking.
Wow.
Ay, ay, ay.
Holding player, Vitali has just gone ahead with a pair of aces.
Crowd goes wild.
This is the second time Lunkin's cracked queens. I know he had queens and cracked kings before.
Yeah.
But he's certainly running good.
Ten of spades.
Oh, Eric. Look at Eric. His facade has changed from joy to... Actually, no, it hasn't changed at all. Ouch. Wow. Well, that is a really strange hand. The whole mumbling, the time taken, the shove with the A7.
Very strange.
Very strange, but it's flipped the game on its head.
And that puts Lunkin over the 7 million. Seidel still not that far behind, 5.45 million.
Wow. What do you make of that, boys and girls? Hashtag APT Live. Nuts at PokeStars.com. Sorry, PokeStars.tv, should I say. Blimey.
Yeah.
OMG, says the Twitter. Yes.
I mean, you could expect him making that move if he made a decision after a minute or so. But once he was like tanking for more than 3 minutes, he just... I did not see that coming.
Nope. Not a huge amount of emotions coming out of either of our players. I think we're not going to see too much fist pumping and high-fiving.
So let's take Seidel's hand out of the equation there. Say we didn't know what Seidel was holding, we just knew what Vitali Lunkin was holding. After Seidel took all that time to call, how would that have shifted your range, Steve, in terms of what you would have called with?
I mean, as Seidel.
As Seidel, yeah.
I think when he 3-bets in the first place, he kind of has a pretty good idea whether or not to call. I mean, it's possible he could have a hand like Ace-10 and maybe was planning on folding it, and then after that he decides he's just going to call. I mean, that's definitely possible, and I think Vitali opens himself up to something like that happening by kind of making those grimacing faces, I guess. But for the most part, Seidel is just not really going to change his range. Like he's either 3-betting a hand to 3-bet fold or call. I mean, if he 3-bet something like King Queen, he probably would just fold it anyways. But it's really hard to say.
Kapla. And the game rolls on. Only 3 minutes left at this level. I guess there's a break after this.
Yeah, 20 minutes, I think, scheduled.
So Vitali can go into that break feeling like he has survived a tsunami there. Eric not far behind, so I guess when they come back from the break, they can just sit down and get down to business. Just for a minute, I was thinking Joe and James are going to be absolutely sick that we stood in here for a couple of hours and nearly wrapped the whole thing up there.
Well, you know, we had some work to do after last night.
That is true.
I kind of felt like they were blaming us on the commentary when they first came on there.
Yeah, with all 8 players left, not even just the final money makers to play with.
We can just say it was Steve's fault. It's fine.
Blame
Everything was going fine. Steve came into the booth and then no one busted.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We forgive you. We'll take some blame as well. How about that?
Andrew suggesting the longer Vitali took, he probably just felt he either had to fold or shove. He backed himself into a corner. Maybe so. That seems to be the way things went there.
Yeah, I mean, if Lunkin was considering a call, it's way more difficult after deliberating and then calling and having
that kind of disappears as an option. And
future
then
streets
just,
to play.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now Vitaly Lunkin has all the momentum in the world. Eric Seidel, way too seasoned player to let that bad beat affect him right now, I'm sure. Seen it all before, been here, done that, got the t-shirt. Not to mention a few $1 million in tournament winnings throughout his life.
A lot of people saying that Lunkin's 4-bet shove was pretty standard and a heads-up pot. I mean, we don't disagree with that.
It's not so much that; it's the process they got there.
It was the time he thought. And
yeah, I mean, I think for 30 blinds, I think it's it's pretty loose.
Being asked to please step back from the mic when screaming. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. It was a bit surprising.
we got a little overexcited.
You know, we don't get a lot of excitement. You know, it's mostly just poker, just ticking over. When the big things happen, we like to get fully invested. And this will be the last hand of the level. Guys, take a break and come back at 81.60 with the 20k ante. So the price of playing going up as they head towards that top prize of over 700,000 euros.
Misses both players. Seidel's going to continue with the king high. Probably get the job done. Lunkin does have a couple of backdoor draws.
I like your positive thinking.
When I saw him reaching for chips, I thought, oh, I've got to get my way out of this here. Backdoor draws, yeah, that will do.
Yeah, he's clearly thinking about all the other hearts in the deck and the sixes and aces and threes.
Well, to be honest, he's thought far too long now. How can he call? He just, you know, he's got to
get
stick
it all in.
Get it in.
It's pretty ambitious to call, just given how many weak pairs he already has. You know, he wants to call with any deuce, any four, any straight draw. So at this point now, when he's calling with queen high, he's just really, you know, he has a really weak range, and Seidel can attack that.
He's picked up a flush draw.
Check call to victory. Oh, Eric. The cards don't like you much, my friend. Thank God there's a break. Fresh cards. It's a nice idea there, Vitaly, but I don't think Eric's going to give you any money. Well, that takes the... Oh, hang on a second. Is Eric about to shove? I'm just thinking, well, this is this.
He's doing a Lunkin.
He's doing a lumpkin.
He might be considering calling just hoping he has like 5-6 or 3-5, but it seems like it's not going to happen.
That's not the Seidel way.
He folds to end the level.
Yeah, and that takes Vitaly really, really close. He's just shy of 8 million, 7.96 million in chips versus Eric Seidel's 4.7.
17? Oh, sorry.
Guys are going to go on a break. Are you sticking around some more, Steve? I think you're probably going to take a break now, I would imagine.
I think I'm going to head out of here and try to meet up with some of the guys and
Nice.
grab some dinner.
Well, look, a million thanks again for giving us so much of your time today. Really appreciate it, as do our Twitter followers. There on your screens is confirmation of how things stand. Coming back at 81.60. And hopefully, I mean, you think there would be plenty of play still to go here, but the way these guys have gone, perhaps not. Come back in 20 minutes when we'll carry on with more from this final table.
Frosty, we hardly knew thee. Welcome back to the PokerStars.net European Poker Tour and the final table of the €50,000 buy-in Super High Roller. It's heads up in this tournament. Eric Seidel against Vitaly Lunkin. And back on the mics, it's James Hartigan with Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies. Speaking of Frosty, Eric Seidel and Vitaly Lunkin. If I had to describe these two guys in one word, it would be dynamic.
Yep.
If I had to do it in 3 words, 4 words, it would be bursting rays of light.
It is Lunkin versus Seidel, and right now it's Lunkin with the chip advantage. Roughly 8 million plays 4.8 million, with the blinds going up to 80, 160 with a 20K ante.
Now, James and I have been off comms for a little bit. We were doing some other stuff. We were following the action. From what I understand, there's been like a lot of 5-bet jamming, a lot of 6-bet re-raising, a lot of triple range merging, and not a lot of limping and checking. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Apparently, I've got that exactly reversed.
It is a heads-up battle for the ages. Or is that heads-up battle for the aged? Not to PokerStars.tv, the email address, the hashtag EPT Live. We love to hear from you on Twitter. Francesca says, I'm back. Wow. What happened to Mike? Where is he?
Who is Mike?
Did his stare not work? Mike McDonald, remember him? At one point, he had the chip lead. At one point, we thought he was going to win this thing.
No recollection. He's a poker player.
He is a poker player who went out in 4th. Steve O'Dwyer modelling his new Steven Seagal look, bust in 3rd, ruining Joe Stapleton's comedy routine for the rest of the day.
Steve O. Seagal is now under siege 2 dark territory. Just kind of crowbarred that one in there.
Yeah.
I already closed down the IMDb page. I lost them.
So the players are in their chairs. Stacks have been verified. We get cards in the air any moment now.
And I think to help pass the time of this grueling heads-up match, each of them has taken on a hobby. Eric Seidel, knitting. Vitaly Lunkin, whittling. Nice little piece of scrimshaw, an EPT 10 scrimshaw for you guys. Maybe give it away at the end of the broadcast. And a toilet paper cozy from Eric Seidel.
So those of you who've just joined us, we started the day with 8 players, and we were on the bubble in this tournament. Timothy Adams was the bubble boy, busting in 8th place. Very soon after that, 2 hands later, in fact, we lost Fabian Quast, followed by Ola Shemian, who started the day as chip leader. November 9, David Benefield went in 5th. Timex out in 4th. He had trip queens, but Vitaly Lunkin had a full house, which improved to quads on the river. And Steve O'Dwyer recently went in 3rd. That leaves us with Seidel against Lunkin, Blinds, 80,000, 160,000 with a 20,000 ante. And obviously we're focused on the main stage, we're focused on this heads-up battle, but we cannot ignore the fact that the room is heaving, because it is day 1A of the main event. And we'll be talking about that in just a moment. First hand back from the break.
Lunkin limping his button, Seidel checking his option.
Hand 102 of the final table. Lunkin pairs his deuce. Seidel with a gut shot.
Jack high still good. And a pair of deuces.
Seidel leads the turn for 200,000.
Little semi-bluff, but it ain't gonna work.
To steal a line from Joe Stapleton. Tough to fold a pair, heads up.
Tough to make a pair. He's raising!
Wow!
It's weird that that's a normal-sized water bottle. Eric Seidel, it's like Gandalf. Seidel seems unconvinced. If you had a big piece of this board, Vitali, why wouldn't you raise before the flop? Why wouldn't you raise before the flop? Seidel with the eventual fold, and thank you for that, Eric. Thank you for that.
Thank you to Yoram on Twitter for confirming that with 15 minutes to go, the EPT Live free roll is maxed out. 30,000 seats were available at the start of the day. We have 30,000 runners. Good luck to everyone playing in that. Chris McFadden says, welcome back, Stapigan. Think this will be a long one? I'll take the under on wherever the line is set at. I'll take the over. So I said we'll talk a little bit about the main event here in Barcelona. Pleased to be joined by Stephen Bartley from the PokerStars blog team.
Hello, chaps. It's delightful to be back. I've been really looking forward to this. Thanks very much.
Well, Stephen, it's so exciting, this festival. I mean, obviously we had that 1K Estrellas event, which has broken the PokerStars Live Tours record.
It has, yes.
And now we have the main event of the EPT, which potentially could break a record of its own.
And last night at the PokerStars party, I broke my open bar spend record. Well, I had 14 drinks last night.
Well, what a remarkable week it's turning out to
I
be.
was triple fisting at one point. But anyway, let's talk about the,
you're quite right. I mean, I think we had about, was it 508, 510 players today or something like that. So in the region of just over more than 500. And when you consider that day 1B will be bigger than that, you know, we've got, a huge field in store.
I believe the capacity for day 1B, as Vitali Lunkin talks to himself, is 750.
I did wonder where that voice was coming from.
750 plus alternates.
That's right.
And the record for an EPT event outside of the PCA is San Remo, I believe, in
That's
Season
right.
6.
1,240 players back in Season 6.
Let's just pick up the action here. Seidel's button raise to 320,000. Lunkin, after all that chatting, called and just flopped top pair.
My analysis here, Lunkin ahead.
Checks to Seidel, who continues to 350k.
You can't fold now.
Oh. Seidel pairs his king on the turn.
Not a good card for Eric. Now he slows down.
Check, check.
Lunkin decides not to go for value.
Had 690,000 chips to his stack and is now up to 9 million. Seidel down to 3.7 million.
That 8 was a pretty scary card.
Francesca's just asked on Twitter, after this finishes, will you start covering the main event? Not today. Tomorrow, day 1B is when we start streaming that, but obviously the live reports team are on that, Stephen, and live updates on the main event are available.
Yes, that's right. We'll be here all the way through to the end. What is it? 8 levels today, so we'll be here till about just after midnight. You can get all the news you need, all the chip counts, scores, everything, etc. on the PokerStarsBlog.com.
If they want to listen to more of Vitaly Lunkin's heavy breathing, can they do that on the PokerStars blog?
Well, this is the place for it, isn't it? It sounds like steam escaping.
So yeah, 509 players on day 1A. I mean, that's almost the same number of players we got in the grand final across the 2 day ones.
Right. That's right. I mean, we've been sort of, our press room is sort of tucked in behind the queue for the side events, and today's queue is the qualifier, the satellite, sorry, tonight, the 9 o'clock satellite, which I think is a 1K. But that queue's been stretching back to the casino all day.
Have you noticed any scuffles in the queue, any dust-ups? Because I feel like, you know, whenever there's a long line, there's a lot of etiquette.
Well, I wrote something about the sort of line as the main event players were coming out for their break. There was sort of 2 worlds on either side of this rope line. There was the happy, joyous players of the main event on one side.
We're playing, it's so much fun in there.
And then these forlorn faces who'd been standing in a quew for a couple of hours.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Sort of envious. But yeah, a few of them have got chairs. It's a bit like the Harrods sale now.
I will say that I've been spoiled living in London where you call it queuing.
Yes, we do.
You guys are good at it.
Yes.
You know the etiquette, you know the rules, but
Exactly.
I feel like, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I feel like in other European countries, people are like, oh, come on, join me in line. It's fine.
That's
it's
right.
fine. Come up
yeah,
here.
It's not right. It's not right.
It's not right. Don't do
Civilization
it.
is built on a queue.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's probably happening a lot out there. I'm just wondering if there's been any big scuffles yet.
Not that I've seen, but you know, there's a few sort of bad tempers out there.
We've got a great security team which would stop it getting nasty.
Exactly.
Seidel button raise with a jack. Jack 5.
I really don't like that noise, I'm sorry.
It's really creepy. I feel like I'm watching a bad 80s horror movie.
It's like Vader breathing.
Check, check on the turn. And Jack high is still good.
Hard to make Jack high.
Checked to showdown. Seidel wins that one. So any notable names playing in the main event today, Stephen?
Well, there are, but as you can imagine, there's quite a few notable names. So I can tell you the notable names that are out, if that would be useful.
Yes.
Well, I say notable. Martin Schleich is out.
No!
Yeah, it is.
No! Sorry.
One of the most popular Barcelona winners for his 4 a.m. finish a few years ago.
I
He's
would
out.
argue that he is one of those
Yep.
popular, but not as popular as Kent Lundmark.
Oh,
Son of
Kent's
Kent?
my boy. Is Kent still in?
I want to say yes.
How do you not know? What
because there are
I mean,
508
there are
players.
people you just followed. Ivy, Negreanu, Lundmark. Come on.
Elke's out too. We've lost him.
Yeah, I saw a tweet from Elke saying that he kind of deserved it because he played bad.
Right.
But still
Well, he'll be all right.
Elke, why'd you do that?
Did I see Alexander Stevic playing today?
I'm glad you mentioned that, James. He is playing today. If I could elaborate on this, Alexander Stevic is the winner of Barcelona Season 1, to those who don't know.
The first
ever EPT.
What is he, like 100?
Well, he looks just a few pounds different to what he did 10 years ago. He really has aged very well, and he's an extremely friendly, happy chap who I spoke to earlier. He sort of said he felt great, and he's actually one of the chip leaders at the moment, if I'm right. I think he had over 100,000
That's cool.
20 minutes ago. So there's a story building there, really. I asked him if he'd like to have won, you know, does he ever think he'd prefer to have won an event a few years later? And he said, I would have been happy to come runner-up 3 years later. It would have been a lot more money.
I believe his win back in 2004 was for 80,000 euros.
80,000,
And
yeah.
of course, now we regularly have tournaments which cost more than that to play.
That's right, that's right. He did actually, some people forget that he did actually finish third in the grand final that year as well.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So he had quite a year.
Some people forget, some people never knew in the first
That's
place.
right. And some people rely on certain databases.
Phillips just tweeted to say, "Oh my God, turn Lumpkin's microphone off. Even if we were able to get that message to our sound team, they won't get it for another hour."
What do you think? What do you think his hand smells like right now? Just breathing hard from his mouth into it. But it smells good. But it's a sweet smell.
Wow, Giovanni says, "You're laughing, but for all we know, Lunkin had some bad calamari on break and is just trying to keep it down."
I've been there.
That's true.
We've all been there. Sometimes you're trying to keep it down. Sometimes you're trying to keep it up. If you know what I mean.
Enter. So okay. Okay. So
Yeah, it kind of helps when you know what the blinds and antes are.
sorry.
Actually, speaking of which,
For next time.
Ross
for next
sent in a funny tweet, which I don't think he intended to be funny. Would Vitaly Lunkin be the first non-poker pro to win a super high roller? And who would you say is the best non-poker pro to play the super high roller? To my knowledge, Vitaly Lunkin is a poker pro. I wouldn't classify him as the recreational player.
No, he's pretty good.
And to answer the first part of the question, I don't believe a non-poker pro has ever won a super high roller.
So there.
If we go through the winners, Kachalov, Blom, Bonomo, Smith, Seaver.
Well, Seaver, is he a pro?
And Altegott.
Talking of Kachalov, I'm hoping to write something later this week about the players who have sort of been around consistently since Season 1. And Kachalov is one of the surprise players I noticed has been here since Season 1.
Really?
That's right.
Eugene was one of those guys. Now, I mostly covered stuff in America, but from the second you first started hearing his name, you never stopped.
Right.
He just started winning right away. He was just always a good player.
Yeah.
And obviously, as well as the live updates, Stephen, and people can obviously follow what's going on day 1A of the main event, you obviously write your features as well, and I know that you've been focusing on Olashemian, a character we've mentioned a few times today, purely because we first saw him here in Barcelona 2 years ago as a drunken railbird.
Right.
And since then, he's just been on an absolute tear on the
That's right. When you say he
circuit.
was a drunken railbird, he wasn't railing Martin Schleich,
Yes,
was
he was one of the
Really?
two, he was one of the two Germans
Wow,
railing Martin Schleich.
I didn't know that.
Remember those two obnoxious guys
I do.
screaming for
Yeah.
Martin Schleich?
In fact, didn't they eventually turn on Martin and say, Martin, it is enough? And
Yes, they did, yeah, because
think
he was
so.
taking so long.
That's right. But no, Rick Dacey of the PokerStars blog, he's been writing about Ollie earlier today, sort of that transformation over the last couple of years from spotty kid on the rail to sleeveless super high roller.
Do you know that they were railing him so aggressively that afterward, when Martin won, I was afraid they were going to like follow him to the cage and like make
Right.
him give them money?
Well, they were singing for about an hour after he'd actually won.
Right, and so like, because I didn't know, I didn't know
Yeah.
who they were, and I felt bad. I was like, this guy Martin, he could easily just get swindled, and I made sure that security
Right.
walked Martin
Right.
off the set because I didn't know what these guys were going to do. They had a steady diet of Jaeger bombs and testosterone fed to them.
So Rick's been working on a profile of the man in the mint green sleeveless hoodie. What's been your focus of the last 24 hours?
I've pretty much told you everything I've just been doing. So yes, I mean I can sort of say there will be more coming up. We've got a little bit. I don't know if you've tried to get a taxi late at night, but we're going to have a look at a bit of consumer advice on how to get home without.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Well,
Yeah,
you guys
exactly.
are really scraping the bottom of the barrel, huh?
So
How to
we
catch a
might
taxi.
we might count the number of people in the queue for the satellite, and we'll see how we get on. But I'm sure Rick's got plenty of ideas.
Which is a great way of saying, Rick, come up with some ideas, please.
Counting on you. So, I mean, I've watched this event for the last 2 days, but not today. I mean, has the final sort of lived up to expectations? Has it been a
Well, that depends what your expectations were.
Right.
In a word, yes.
Pretty shallow final table, just as it was in Monaco, and that does make it slightly awkward, and maybe you don't see the top level of play that you might be expecting.
Well, I think everyone thought we did play a couple of hours longer than we thought last night.
Absolutely. So there is Jason Mercier playing day 1A of the main event, and one of the incentives, and we've said this a few times during the week, Neil Johnson revealed it when he was a guest a couple of days ago, one of the incentives now for guys to play day 1A is that you're guaranteed to play 9-handed. Whereas I guarantee you tomorrow, day 1B, our live coverage starting at 4 p.m. Central European time, you will be playing 10-handed. Faux show.
If you don't speak street, James was just saying for sure or guaranteed.
You're going to be playing 10-handed on the EPT 10.
Yo.
Might be dropping some more beats later on if you're fortunate.
I don't know how much more street this broadcast can get.
Got a few lyrical bombs in the making. Seidel raises the button. Lunkin, unsuited connectors in the big blinds.
These are the best two hands we've seen in a while. Sick cooler. Let's see some numbers.
Ace, 10, 5, 2 diamonds.
Seidel value batting is 9 high.
And Lunkin folds. Just going back to that tweet from Ross about non-professional poker players in the super high roller, as you say, no non-pro has ever won one, but Chris McFadden say, I'd say Talal Shakurchi would be a good shout for the best non-pro to play a super high roller. I think I'm right in saying, Stephen, that Talal won a standard high roller.
Yes, I think that's right.
The boring old regular high roller in London.
Yeah, I talked to Mike McDonald yesterday, primarily about his stare, but he did say that, I said, does your stare and your slow blink you do, does it have an effect on some players and not on others? And he sort of said, well, on a high roller level, even the amateur players are comfortable playing with such high amounts of money that you've got to be wary of them anyway. What they lack in skill, they make up for in other departments. So
in cojones.
Exactly.
Inga Christopherson says, it's really the old guard winning this? I thought Timex was going to take it down. Nope. Timex gone.
Maybe if they had to get up and run around the table between hands or something.
Well, a great incentive for them to get over and done with.
There's a couple of hands.
Hang on, Eric's got to deal with this irritating itch.
That's his pocket fives tell.
So Lunkin has raised. Seidel calls. All spades, 9-7 tray.
Seidel, the only player with a spade.
And the only player with a pair. Check, check. 6 of diamonds on the turn.
So Seidel picks up a double gutter also.
Looks like he will.
Pretty good spot to bet usually.
375k. And there's the fold from Lunkin. So not that much movement in the chip stacks from when we came back from the break. Lunkin with roughly 8.6 million. Seidel with close to 4.2 million.
I think I just thought of a joke for the TV shows I got to stick in somewhere. Anybody have a pen?
Do you need a pen?
That's right. I'm going to put it in my phone. That's what I do. Abraham Lunkin, Vampire Hunter. I'm still workshopping it.
Yeah, you keep working on
I'm just
that.
going to test it, probably. Start new notepad. Barcelona.
Seidel's button. And he just calls. I know this is a little bit premature, Stephen, because in reality they've only been heads up for about 40 minutes, but I am having flashbacks to Copenhagen season 4.
Don't say it.
It's the limping and the checking that the problem.
These guys, look, these guys can't do it.
And they're new to the game. What can you say? How long has the heads up been going on, by the way?
As I said, roughly 40 minutes. It was 20 minutes from the last level, 20 minutes from this level.
Okay, so we've got 4 hours before it becomes really bad.
Too pair for Lunkin. Bet on the flop will win it for him. A couple of updates from the EPT Live free roll. Poker Viking says 2 minutes have passed and 2,000 players have already been eliminated. James Sparks says, just got quads in the free roll. No death by quads, though. He folded. Hashtag bossing it. Good luck to everyone who's playing in that tournament. And good luck to everyone who's grinding all of the Sunday tournaments. Big night online tonight.
I do like Vitaly Lunkin. He's very affable, always has a big smile on his face.
Right.
Really sweet
I've
guy.
never really talked to Tim before.
I haven't.
Don't know much
I mean,
about him.
he's doesn't speak a ton of English, but like I said, he's a very friendly guy. And I actually give a guy a lot of credit for being. Who you can tell he's friendly even without having a conversation with him. It's just a smiley fella. Look at this picture down there. Come on, look at that.
Stephen, you were at the party last night?
No, I wasn't. I was working. Were you at the party?
No, of course not. We weren't there.
No,
we were working also.
Yes, we had television commitments, which meant we couldn't be on the webcast.
I hear it went quite well. Actually, I hear it went quite well and really badly as well, depending on who you ask.
I think it went really badly for whoever got stuck with the check for the table service that went on after the open bar closed.
Ah, yes. Yeah, that's a dangerous time to be around.
That's why you always got to be like, oh boy, I am tired.
Get the excuses in early.
I have got commentary tomorrow. Just going to take this bottle to go.
Button raise from Lunkin. And a 3-bet from Seidel.
So if you wish to take an add-on, please leave the money on the table and leave the area as quickly as possible.
Vitaly, if you're going to take this long, at least mutter to yourself.
See, this is the other reason why Copenhagen's coming back, Stephen, is the time that they're taking over their decisions.
Yeah, it does have a few of those hallmarks, doesn't it?
How much of this heads-up battle do you reckon is going to make the TV edit?
I take the under on 4 hands. This is where he just freaks out and just says all in.
Just noticed the Russians in the commentary booth next to us have plenty to talk about, even when Vitaly does nothing. It's quite
well, if we
fascinating.
spoke Russian, we'd be able to translate some of this breathing.
Bless our Russian colleagues, they are easily excitable fellows. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but the Russians have been upgraded for EPT 10.
To what?
Shirts and suits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no more T-shirts with holes in them. Mikhail he just looked at me. Das Vidanya. Das Vidanya. I just say Das Vidanya to them whenever I see them. It's the only Russian word I know.
Perestroika.
I think it means goodbye, but it's funny when I see them. I say, Das Vidania.
Not sure where Damien Clarkson is in the world, but apparently it's 4:22 a.m. and Damien is still watching the EPT Super High Roller heads up.
Yeah, boy.
That is dedication, Damien.
We're happy to have you.
Anyone been watching since the beginning? And when
And
I
by
say the beginning, I mean the very first hand of day one.
Oh, I thought you meant season 1.
No, because we'd only started live streaming in season 3. What I want to know is if we've got anyone who's actually watched every single hand that we have shown of this tournament on EPT Live.
I mean, if there are, do we really want to hear from them? Both players catch something here. Sadell pairs his 9. Lunkin flops the flush draw and a gut shot. Double gutter.
Craig says, Stapes, it's a shame that Lunkin didn't bubble because you could have said Lunkin Donuts.
Lunkin Donuts. I want him to set mine one hand so I can say Lunkin's about to go spelunkin.
So Lunkin, donk leads, Seidel calls, and Lunkin makes his flush on the turn.
And I wonder if that donk lead is going to tip Eric off as to sorts of hands that Tally could have. Work it out, Eric. Think about it. You can see math taking place just under his skin.
Yeah, that's right, the blinking. Maybe he was counting.
Good laydown. Tough to fold the pair heads up. Eric does it, and he does it correctly.
Lunkin playing 9.1 million, Seidel 3.6 million. And Rob King says, I'm embarrassed to say yes. I've had the stream on for every hand every day and only left for calls of nature. Wow. Inga
I'm guessing that call of nature wouldn't be one that involves any sort of female interaction.
I think that's a good guess. Inga Christofferson says, what about Dan Shack? Isn't he a non-pro who's won a Super High Roller? He hasn't won the Super High Roller.
We kind of just went over all the winners of the Super High Roller. Don't remember saying Dan Shack's name. I tune out a lot,
specifically talking about Super High Rollers on the EPT and at the PCA. Stephen Bartley has to go. There's work to be done in the blog room.
Count some qualifiers in that line.
And as Bartley departs, Jones is standing by. That will be Lee Jones, Head of Poker Communications at PokerStars. And that means if you've got questions for tonight's edition of Lee's Lowdown, you want to be emailing them right now, nuts@pokerstars.tv, or you want to be tagging your tweets EPT Live.
Are we going to give him a proper introduction?
I think that would be a good idea.
All right, kids, it's time once again for our latest edition of Lee's Lowdown. Please, 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 let me get some of that Lee's Lowdown! Lowdown.
There I am.
Yeah,
there.
Lee
Hello.
Jones.
They turned on my mic and everything.
Bienvenidos. El
Muchas
Webcasto.
gracias, señor. ¿Cómo está?
Well, here's a question, Lee, as a poker fan, as a casual observer of poker that you might want to be able to handle.
Casual observer of poker. Thank you.
Ben says, why, in your opinion, is tanking gone mad? Seems unnecessary in 80% of cases.
Oh, please. Don't get me started because then I'll go on a 20-minute rant and we'll never get to Lee's Lowdown. I don't know what it is, and I just see everybody who always seems to think that they're being, that they're playing heads up like this. We've got Seidel and Lunkin suddenly, and by the way, the two oldest guys that started the final table are the last two left standing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, this is potential confrontation here. Seidel
Yeah, this
button
is
raising with ace-jack.
they've both got real hands here.
Lunkin with ace-10, deciding what to do.
Both very difficult hands to get away from heads up.
And if an ace flops, there could be a carnage.
I mean, there could be carnage right now.
Absolutely.
And this look like raising chips, don't they?
Well, those blacks are 100,000 each.
And Seidel can never fold.
That's 9 of them. 950.
Wow, this is a significant pot for Seidel. A 3-bet from Lunkin. To the better part of 1,950,000.
I do have a little bit more time for tanking, by the way, when guys are playing for this kind of money.
Yeah, exactly. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the circumstance. If you ever find yourself in this situation, tank all you wish.
But generally, with this stack size, you'd imagine that Seidel would move all in here.
You would, and maybe he's just taking the right amount of time. He doesn't move all in.
What?
Just calls.
Just calls?
He's got the button. I can't imagine he would have just called out of position.
Yeah, but not being funny, Lee, he's just committed more than 25% of his stack.
I get it, and I think that, I mean, clearly his next move is all of them or none of them.
Well, Lunkin had the betting lead pre-flop, and this looks like a continuation bet is coming.
That's 1 million right there. 1.1 million.
Seidel lays down the best hand.
Wow, I mean, I am amazed that we did not see the shove from Seidel pre-flop.
And this is playing results a little bit, but by not shoving, Seidel loses a pot that he was the favorite in, a big-time favorite.
You know,
when maybe he could have doubled up.
I just hate to say it. I am not going to second guess Eric Seidel. I mean,
true.
The guy's survived in like an absurdly tough business for, what is it now, 25, 30 years?
Guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's sure easy to look and say, he had ace-jack, you know, Vitaly had ace-10. Why don't you get all the chips in when you can?
Well, I just think if we're going to take blinds and stack size into the equation, I do think that when Lunkin responds with a 3-bet there, and you've got ace-jack suited, the optimal move is just to move all in. I think to just call and then fold the flop is odd, to say the least.
It's a good way of putting it.
Well, Steve Silverman, if you're out there...
Let's think of some reasons that he might have just called, by the way. Maybe he doesn't want to race for his entire tournament right there. Maybe...
Yeah, I mean...
Vitaly's a relatively snug player, doesn't 3-bet all the time.
Maybe... That, by the way, I think, Joe, you may have hit on it. Eric may think that he is a favorite in this tournament. And if he does, he shouldn't be... You know, I mean, realistically, Vitaly 3-bet out of position. His range is not... That's probably basically the bottom of his range, right?
Not necessarily. I
don't know. We haven't
agree.
seen him playing heads up, so I don't know.
I can't help... Look, Eric Seidel is a better poker player than I will ever be, but I can't help but think that he misplayed that hand. And certainly there's a few people on Twitter who agree, among them Navo, who says, WTF, Eric?
Why the fold, Eric?
Exactly. Well translated. Anyway, Lee, you did not come in here to discuss Eric Seidel's play with that ace-jack. You came in here for Lee's lowdown. You came in here to talk stuff.
Yeah.
I want to get to Lee's lowdown, but this hand is also shaping up to be pretty interesting.
Here we
Lunkin
go.
limping his button with queen-jack. Seidel raises 10-5 to nearly $500,000.
And it's worth pointing out, by the way, that after that last hand, Lunkin's opened up a massive chip lead. 10 million plays 2.7.
I mean, a bet on the flop here, and that's it. Eric has got pot-sized bet left behind.
And he's going to put that bet in right now.
Yep, there's top pair for Eric.
He's got two. He's got twice the pot left, actually.
That's what I mean. But after this bet on the flop. $400K.
That's 400,000 total.
That was long can call with just 2 overs.
Thing is that he can pick up a lot of cards that he likes, but he can't make a semi-bluff raise because Eric's committed at this point.
So he folds. I recall when this fold.
Top pair good.
So sorry, Lee. Let's get down to it then. What's happening in the old PokerStars lobby? What's happening in the world of Lee Jones?
Well, so there's a few things going on. We've just passed out of August, and you know, from what I heard at the party last night, there was a fair amount of passing out going on. But yeah, we are into September now. And
what have you heard about the party? Unfortunately, Stapes and I couldn't be there because we had TV commitments.
The party was epic. Okay, we just took over a large chunk of the Barcelona seaside, and we had the EPT awards, and then everybody just hung out and drank and chatted and danced in the Barcelona breeze, and it was a beautiful thing. But anyway, yeah, what's going on at PokerStars is that we've gotten beyond the VIP month, and it is now into the time we are going to celebrate the VIP month, and we have the Flipperments coming up. So from September 2nd through September 6th, you are going to be able to register and play and watch, as it is in Flipperments, where you just sign up for the tournament, and then you're all in every hand, and either you win or you don't.
Picking up the action on this hand. Seidel raised, Lincoln defended, check on the flop.
Charlie bets on 360,000 total.
Vitali now leads the turn after there was no c-bet from Seidel on the flop. Ace-high is still the best hand.
But it's hard to know that.
Seidel folds. We just heard from Alan Barry on Twitter. Alan says, I find it amusing that non-poker players think Seidel makes no mistakes in hands because of his success. Hashtag massive mistake. Alan obviously quite disapproving of how Eric played that ace-jack. Navu says it was an error. No more analysing.
Cool, we can go.
Okay.
Hey guys, this guy Navu says that we can go. He says we're done. Can I get out of here?
He says it was an error.
No more analyzing. Sweet.
Anyway, so yes, Flipperments going on at PokerStars September 2 through 6. Check your PokerStars client lobby to see if you have a ticket for any of those, which you would have obtained by various things that you did during August. And the first one, which is coming up tomorrow, is going to award $100,000 to the winner. So,
all right, I'm back for that.
Yeah, you're back. And the great thing is, Joe, you don't even have to play. It's like you could play against, you know, Ike Haxton and have the same chance he does.
Playing is probably my biggest weakness, is having to make decisions. I only have one weakness playing poker, and that's making decisions.
That's making the decision.
Yeah.
So you figure Flipperments are right up your alley.
Except I'm also really unlucky.
Oh.
So it's kind of tough.
I'll never forget when Annette Oberstedt turned 21 and is going to play in Vegas, and she says, I can't wait to go play PLO in Vegas because I run really good at flips. You know?
Confirmation of the difference in prize money.
Does anyone know how much the runner-up gets?
500 and something.
To the best of our knowledge, Messias, Seidel and Lunkin have not discussed any kind of deal. Looks like they are playing for it all.
To the best of our knowledge, they haven't discussed anything. I don't think either one of them's uttered a word.
Well, that's not strictly true. Lunkin's uttered a few words into his hand.
The other thing we've got going on at PokerStars, of course, is WCoop is coming up in 1 week from today.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and that's going to be just amazing. It's going to be a huge, huge event. And as a matter of fact, if you're thinking about playing the main event, you should know that yesterday we had a satellite that gave away 100 seats to the main event. And yes, that's a good graphic that we have up here. The highlights of the biggest WCoop final tables, because there have been some monsters. And so please go to PokerStars.tv and watch the cards up final tables of the recently passed WCoops. And I believe that the first prize for the WCoop main event this year is $1 million.
Oh.
So yeah, there's a lot going on at in terms of WCoop. We're gonna have a big event, and look here, we've got a hand that's probably gonna get some people involved.
Lunkin's raised, Seidel with the decision. Pocket eights.
100% of people will be involved in this hand.
Seidel shoves.
There we go.
Is announced all in.
I think this call's a little loose.
I don't think he's going to call
for
here.
Vitaly Lunkin.
The thing is that Eric's at the bottom of his range to shove, and Lunkin is probably knows that.
Lunkin does fold. I like Rune's tweet here. As tight as Lunkin has been playing, it would not be unlikely for him to have a set in that situation. You know, the old pre-flop set. Very underrated. I can totally understand why Eric might not want to get it in before the flop, because Lunkin could easily have a set there when he 3-bets before the flop.
You may have created a new internet meme. The pre-flop set. He's so tight he could have a pre-flop set.
Johnny says, will Stapes and Hardigan be playing any WCoop events? If so, you can't play well. If you can't play well, run well. I might play a WCoop event. I don't know. I'm going to have to work hard to satellite
So
in.
the thing I want to, and you know, Joe, that's really the thing. And James brought that up the last time I was on the show, and I think that's really important, is that, you know, you don't have to buy directly into a WCoop. You can buy in for $1 or a few FPPs or whatever it is, and satellite your way into WCoop. And of course, the last WCoop main event winner got in for 40 FPPs and then proceeded to win $1 million.
Let's see a flop here.
Now this could cause some fireworks.
Seidel's raised, called by Lunkin. Pair of nines for Seidel, pair of jacks for Lunkin.
It's pretty amazing that these guys keep catching such significant pieces of boards and so little money is going into these pots.
But this is why I brought up the whole Copenhagen thing. This is exactly what happens. It just gets check, all the way to showdown. Well, Lunkin's betting now. Seidel's not going to fold to one bet, is he? He can't. He does call. By the way, amongst our celebrity viewers, Ike Haxton's just tuned in.
Big time hero.
Great heads-up play going on EPT Live. Few poker players I look up to more than Eric Seidel, and Vitaly Lunkin is one tough opponent.
Ike, if you're listening, what about Seidel laying down the ace-jack suited there?
Lee, there's no more analysis. Vu has already told us. And he's put a period at the end of that sentence. Lunkin's going to rake this pot. I like Craig's question, and Lee, I don't want to put you on the spot because I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, so if you don't, come back tomorrow for Lee's lowdown. Craig wants to know, do you have to be logged on during the flip events?
You do not.
So once you're registered, whatever happens, you go check your account later.
You go and check your account later, you won or you didn't.
You don't have to witness the carnage. You can just check your balance at the end of the whole...
I love that.
I think you have to take your seat, and I'm not sure about that. I will check that.
Okay.
If any of my poker room management colleagues are listening to the broadcast, please be good enough to get back to us and confirm that for me. I believe that you may have to actually take your seat in the tournament, but after that, you just do
Okay,
your
so you
thing.
may have to be logged on at the start, but we will get confirmation of that on tomorrow's Lee's Lowdown.
Yeah. And seriously, Ike, if you're listening, tell us what you thought of Eric's play with the ace-jacks, because I am certainly not, for a moment, going to try to second-guess, a guy who's survived in this business as long as he has and has been successful as he has. I mean, it looked odd to me, but of course we were looking at the cards and everything else, so it's a very different situation.
Lunkin raises. Seidel announces all in.
Oh, it looks like we're playing sweat the hand. Quick! What does Seidel have that he's willing to raise with? A queen and.
We're going to get the other card. We have to.
No, we're not.
Oof.
Not being funny. It's not going to make the edit, so we don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, there's that.
Now, to be fair, this is Eric's first TV table.
Ever. You can say you've been at a TV table, but how many people can say they've been at a feature movie film table?
Which movie are we talking about?
Rounders.
Well, I mean, he was, they didn't shoot that for the movie. That was a real thing.
It was just footage of the World Series.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's not actually in the movie Rounders. He just appears in the TV show.
But he
The
might have been
ESPN
in that other
coverage.
one, Lucky You, which is the exact opposite of what the audience is.
I just found out that Victoria Sinclair has never seen Rounders.
Okay, now bear in mind, Lee, that nobody out there knows who Victoria Sinclair is.
I was just about to say,
you're
who
now
is
you're
that?
now going to have to set this up from the very start.
Okay, Victoria Sinclair is like the.
She sounds hot, by the way. Anyone with a Saint in their last name, usually pretty hot.
Her name is Sinclair.
Oh, I thought you were saying Saint Clair.
Victoria Sinclair.
Oh, Sinclair, I'm not so sure.
Anybody with the word sin in their last name is probably hot.
Anyway, who's she, Ed?
She is one of our colleagues at PokerStars who helps run these various events, without whom these things wouldn't happen.
Okay, Lee, right, you're a man of influence at PokerStars, right? You're quite high up the management tree. You've got the ear of the PokerStars fat cat. You need to implement an induction program. When people come to work for PokerStars, first thing, you sit them down in a room and you make them watch Rounders.
Popcorn and soda and Rounders.
James was thinking more like Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Eye forceps.
Yeah, I was really disturbed when she said that. I was like, and you're running poker tournaments? Anyway, but yes, Eric has been around. I mean, what was that? What year was that with him and Johnny Chan?
How have I never seen someone in a hand against Eric Seidel rub their chin and then shove their chips in homage of that clip?
Was it the 88 or 89 World Series?
Please, Vitaly, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was like 1988, 89, and obviously the movie was made in 98, and Matt Damon's character is watching it on TV and keeps rewinding to the last hand where Chan suckers Seidel in. And unfortunately for Eric, that's what he's kind of best known for, being the guy who lost heads up to
Not
Johnny
anymore.
I don't think he's best known for
Not
that.
anymore,
I think he's
but I will
best known
say-
for basically crushing poker for the
Now I
last
think
20
he is,
years.
but I think that we all sort of were under this strange impression, because that was one of my first experiences with poker, was seeing the movie Rounders.
Let me put it this way. Does anybody know where Johnny Chan is these days?
Sweet, sweet trailer for his reality TV show on YouTube. And if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It is awesome.
Artie just tweets to say, so Seidel shoves Queen X. The whole card camera only saw one card. Clearly he had a set.
We have, in fact, a new internet meme.
2 pre-flop sets in one heads-up match. Very rare.
Quick question for you, Lee, from The Dyer. Lee, I'm coming to VIP Live London in November. Anything special lined up that you can talk about?
You know, we just finished VIP Club Live in Berlin, so I don't know what the plans for VIP Club Live in London are, except that I am going to be there and we are going to party, because the Vancouver one, I didn't manage to make it to Berlin, but the Vancouver one was off the charts. It was just amazing. We had women in red paint. I mean, that was what they were wearing, was red body paint.
And that's all they were wearing?
That was pretty much all they were wearing, was red body paint.
No, just for Joe's benefit, when you say that's pretty much all they were wearing, either they were wearing something else or they weren't.
Let me just say,
what happened was a bunch of women showed up wearing real fox-skin coats. Some protesters ran into them outside, covered them in red paint. It was a huge disaster. Lee's just putting some great spin on it.
No, as a matter of fact, the first thing I thought was, God, that woman's wearing a really tight dress. Oh, man.
Skin tight.
It's exactly. A great Ohio Players song, in fact.
Eric Seidel raising his button, Jack 6 suited.
Rune has come back to us, by the way, saying I was clearly referring to the post-flop game. I don't think it matters what Lunkin had post-flop. It's about the pre-flop play that we were discussing, about how Seidel played the ace-jack.
And finally, some action from Vitaly Tankin.
No need to count it. Seidel's folded. Next. Fabienne's not a fan. She says, most boring heads-up ever.
Oh, no, that's not true.
Not even close.
We were in Copenhagen.
You know how you know it's not the most boring heads-up ever? You're still conscious.
And you're still watching.
Eric even liked your joke. And by the way, you know what?
I think Eric is dragging out this heads-up match just to continue drinking the free water.
Dan Shack got in touch on Twitter. Has anyone pointed out that Eric Seidel came direct from Florida from the 10 million guaranteed Alpha 8? One day for travel.
No one has pointed that out. Thank you, Dan Shack.
Or Daniel Shack, as he is entitled on Twitter.
And the thing is that Eric is 53 years old. And and that travel is not easy. I don't care how you do it.
He doesn't look a day over 50. Lee, what do you say maybe occasionally you need someone to come over to these VIP parties and shake hands and kiss babies, that kind of thing?
Joe, you would be so welcome at any VIP Club Live party, both of you.
Let's make it happen, but here's the thing. I'm a little short on the FPPs or whatever it takes to get in there.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
There's not many things I can fix.
Yeah.
But I can fix that.
You know a guy?
I know a guy that knows a guy. I can consider yourself invited to the VIP Club Live party.
I want to get in on this red paint action.
I don't know if we're going to have red paint, but
oh no, I'll bring my own.
And I'll tell you what, it was certainly popular in Vancouver.
Raise and take it for Lunkin. So you know you got the rest of the world jealous, Lee. Damien says, do you think there could be a VIP Live in Melbourne or somewhere in Australia?
Yes, I'll go to that one too. No problem, Lee. I'm your man.
Actually, they're having one in Rio in can't remember when. I should think that, you would think that Rio and red body paint were just pretty much meant for each other.
Now, that's obviously awesome for people in Latin America, but still quite a long journey from Australia to Rio.
It is. No, well,
that's okay. I've got miles.
And Melbourne is a lovely town, so we would certainly want to do it. Anyway, I do want it to get back to WCOOP because it is looming upon us, and we need to come up with something interesting to do in terms of WCOOP. Like get somebody to tell us what their plan for the path through WCOOP is. I'm sure people are beginning to look at the WCOOP schedule and think about what they want to satellite into. So why don't you tweet us at EPT at #EPT Live? Did you see? Notice I didn't say pound EPT
well
Live.
Done,
I'm learning.
You're learning.
But tweet us at #EPT Live and tell us what WCOOP events you're playing in, or what WCOOP events you're satelliting into, or for that matter, what WCOOP events you like to watch.
2 million.
Raise, re-raise, fold. You guys, I hope this heads-up battle never ends.
It has been pointed out to me on Twitter that, of course, 1989 was the year that Phil Hellmuth won, denying Johnny Chan his third victory in a row.
That's right.
So it was 88 when Johnny Chan beat Eric, and that's the World Series that Matt Damon's character is watching.
Okay, so we're going back 25 years now to the year that, it's a quarter century that Eric Seidel has been,
It's a shame the visor is out of style.
Elron Steele says Rounders is great, but why no love for the Grand? Best tournament poker movie ever. Do you know what, Elron? We're going to add it to the list. So the induction program for PokerStars employees, we can start them off with the Cincinnati Kid.
I've never even seen
followed
that one.
by Rounders, the Grand. I mean, we're not going to force them to watch stuff like Deal and Shade and Lucky You, because that's just punishment.
Right.
Tell you what, if someone's got a disciplinary, just saying, good way of dealing with it. Matthias says, I often see Brad Bellick from Prison Break when the camera shows Lunkin. Anyone else?
He's not the only person that said that. Unfortunately, I've never seen Prison Break, so I can neither confirm nor deny. Top pair for Seidel.
What's the name? Actor's name?
Squadouche for Lunkin.
Wade someone. Hang on, I'm just getting the old IMDb going.
But you don't have the IMDb app on your Mac?
Is there one?
Oh.
Wade Williams is the actor. There is his official publicity still. There's another shot of him. Let's have a look.
Did that go check? It went check. Well, it went check. Okay, now he's betting, and now Vitali is folding.
Yeah, sure, why not? I'll give it to him.
Poker Viking says, are there still card holders to be given away? Not asking for one. Card protectors.
How many have we given away today? Did the other team give away any? No, we got a bunch. Let's give one to Poker Viking. He's been super supportive so far, all 3 days.
Okay.
Poker Viking, write to nuts at PokerStars.tv. You got yourself a card protector. Done.
So just to clarify, in order to claim your card protector, Mr. Viking, you will need to email nuts at PokerStars.tv.
And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If you're here in Barcelona and you're not like a big, fat, rich poker player already, like if I know who you are, the answer's probably going to be no. I'm going to carry a card protector on me at all times. If you come up and find me anywhere, say hello, I will give you a card protector. Unless I've already given it away for that day. But once a day, I will have a card protector on me.
If you're an attractive young woman, he will go and get you a card protector.
Yes, welcome to our latest feature on EPC Live, Mug Stapes.
Different kind of protectors involved with the fan that Lee just mentioned.
Realize there's only 2 minutes left on this level. They will play through into level 24, which is the 200,000 blind level with a 30k ante.
Well, I don't know if Eric wakes up with a hand here, they may not get there.
Here we go, big hand.
And this is hand 132 of the final table.
Let's see what our boy Seidel wakes up with. Jack 10. Not much trouble Seidel can get into here.
No.
Where are those 10 high flops when you need them?
Go check bet fold.
Sorry, checks. Turn. The ace of clubs.
Now that's interesting. This just might actually work.
That's 300,000 total.
Or not.
Sally makes the call. We will see the river.
Free ball on the river.
Check, check.
Seidel playing the board.
Checks.
Now, I wouldn't expect us to go check, check all of the time with these two players. It does sound plausible.
Vitaly has to ask what he can get value from.
Steven says together these two had a pre-flop set of tens.
No, that one's actually true. And a jack kicker.
Jack high. Jack of diamonds, 10 of clubs. Tally shows a 10 of diamonds, 10 of hearts for 2 pairs, 10s and 4s.
So Lunkin wins the last hand of the level.
Can we take a bathroom break?
Eric needs a wee.
Hey, Mikey, gotta take a leak?
Folks, they're playing for hundreds of thousands of euros. Let the man have a restroom break.
Look, what I appreciate, and not, you know, I know we're kind of having a little bit of fun here, but I really respect Eric for actually asking, though. Because obviously it's not an official tournament break. And so he's just saying, is it okay? Rather than just saying, I'm going, I'm taking a break.
Oh, it's polite for him to ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, that's what I'm saying.
I thought you said you respect him like he's like really standing up for himself or something by asking.
No,
Yeah.
I respect him for being polite about it and asking.
Yes.
Здесь валет, а доска 3-4-4 было. Мне было бессмысленно континеншн ставить, хотел с него, ну он же любит все равно ставить.
Yeah, well, that's easy for you to say.
So, okay, here's a question for you. The guy who just showed up with the Merce,
Он все выбрасывает.
you think he's there to rail Eric or the Russian?
Now, the guy on the right there in the grey T-shirt, who's part of Lunkin's railing crew, is Alex Bulliker, who won the high roller at the PCA in 2012, beat Jonathan Duhamel heads up.
Did you just, like, know that?
He does. It's amazing.
Hardigan, you are off the charts. It's like Kev math with a British accent.
Thank you.
Franz says, remember the John Juanda versus Stanislav Alikin WSOP Europe final table.
Yeah.
That was the longest ever. Russians are tough.
That is one heads-up battle I'm really glad I didn't have to commentate. Yeah, Juanda heads-up battle are pretty brutal as well. I don't think you can just blame the Russian there. I mean, when Juanda was heads-up against David Van Plu at EPT London, that went the distance.
Oh, did it?
Объясни, а ты хочешь чаще его переставлять? Честно. Они
Folks, we are on just a brief rest break here. Not an official break.
I was hoping
comfort break is the official
I
sports
believe that
description.
Just so that sounds weirder to me than just saying pee break. Comfort break? That's just bizarre.
Look, I speak from years of experience. It's very uncomfortable.
It makes me think he's going to the bathroom and just chilling on a couch for a second. He's having a comfort break. I was hoping they would leave his mic on and we could naked gun this.
Oh, wow. As things stand, we are...
Can you imagine how mad you would be if they left your mic on?
As things stand, by the way, we're about to start level 24 of the tournament.
They hear you in the bathroom coaxing it. Come on, buddy.
As soon as you said that, as soon as you said that, Joe, our audio guys were going like, quick, check and make sure.
Come on, you can do this. It's all right. It's all right. Go ahead.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
And right now it's 10 million for Lunkin, 2.8 million for Eric Seidel. As soon as he's back from the bathroom, we're going to kick this off. A reminder that there will be a Twitter Q&A session with Eugene Kachelov 2 days into the W Coupe on the 10th of September. Questions should be tweeted at PokerStars.
First question I would ask, how do we know this is really Eugene? Send me a photo with today's newspaper and you in front of your computer. I need proof of life.
You know, we were doing a media training thing yesterday, and Eugene and I were sitting at a table, like, showing people that literally had never played poker before. And it was just a blast because, like, we're kind of explaining to them, we're playing a hand face up so they can understand how things work. And they get into this situation and where Eugene and I are playing a hand against each other, and both of our cards are face up, and the guy says, so what's going on? And Eugene just like breaks into this incredibly detailed analysis of what I might do and what he might do and why I might re-raise here. And
the guy was like, no, what does that K stand for?
And the guy's like, I don't understand. Like, I have a flush, and then I've made a flush, 2 of my 3 on the board, and the guy's like saying, okay, so why does he have a strong hand?
Eugene's like, sometimes your equity in this spot
exactly
will be reduced when you know that you're up against the bottom of someone's range, and the guy's like, what is a diamond?
The guy said, do they have to be in sequence? It was fairly epic.
What is sequence?
Exactly. No, we had a good time with it. And you know, I have to say that I really enjoy teaching people poker because, like, it's always kind of 30, 45 minutes into the lesson, and the light goes on, and they go, this game is really interesting.
Seidel alert. He's coming back.
He's coming back, and he has an entourage.
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I date a lot.
One hears.
I often have new women entering my life, and they often say, like, oh, poker, that's interesting. I don't know how to play, but I'd like to learn. And I say, okay, no problem. Do you know what the hand rankings are? And they go, no, and that's the end of the lesson right there. That's it. That's as far as I get.
Really?
Well, sometimes I'll go a few steps further and be like, okay, so ace high can win, and they're like, nope.
Not interested anymore.
Once they can't even follow hand rankings, I'm like, all right, I guess there are no bad students, by the way, only bad teachers.
And so the relationship is over at that point?
So let's get back to this then. Blinds now 100,000, 200,000 with a 30K ante. Vitaly Lunkin with the big chip advantage over Eric Seidel. Heads up in the 50K super high roller. First event in the EPT Festival here in Barcelona. Remember, the main event is now underway. It's day 1A today, and tomorrow we'll be streaming day 1B from 4 p.m. Central European time.
So now we're playing 100, 200, and Eric's got 2 million?
Yep.
That's 10 big blinds, according to my...
2.8 million.
2.8. Okay, that's...
Wow, and Lunkin shoves on him. Seidel raised to 400,000. Lunkin 3-bet. 3-bet's enough to put Seidel all in.
Do you know what I love? Look at him smile. I mean, what a great... I mean, the guy's just... I love that. There's a man that knows how poker fits into his universe. You know? Like, okay, either I'm going to win or I'm not or whatever, but life is good.
It's still a game.
And we haven't seen Seidel's cards. We know they were good enough for him to raise his button.
I call.
Seidel calls!
There we go.
We'll go to a showdown.
Seidel at risk with ace-9, but ahead of Lunkin's queen-jack. But it's close.
Did anyone fold a queen or a jack?
Almost a flip. Seidel only a 56% favorite here, and he needs to win this flip to survive.
And we go to the flop. Flop is...
Ayah.
What a flop! 2-pair for Seidel, the up and down draw for Lunkin.
Don't you ever tell us that PokerStars is rigged, because live poker is... Look at this. What an action flop. Oh, we can't have any action because they're all in.
Maximum action already achieved.
Game over.
Full house for Seidel.
Oh, put an 8 out there. Go ahead, put an 8 or a king out there, please. Oh,
no needle.
So Eric Seidel doubles up to 5.6 million.
Always happy to see the best hand win.
Lunkin still the chip leader, but without that mammoth advantage now, 7.1 million. We could be in this for the long haul, people.
We've already been in it for the long haul.
We could be in this for the longer haul.
Scratch that.
Not used to winning these spots.
Tally now with a chip lead of just a few big blinds.
How much?
7.
Eric's like, I'm not used to being in these spots. Where you're counting my chips so you can double me up.
7, 8.
This is exactly the way I like my heads-up matches. Slow blinding away till the short stack doubles up.
8, yes, correct.
Once again, I bring you back to Copenhagen in season 4.
So what's the total in chips, you know?
12 million. 12.7 million.
I'll tell you to go down there and tell them, but,
Yeah,
that was an hour ago.
Exactly. As James says, you have to deal with the time-space continuum warp here.
No, so then.
I actually ran into my past self one time when I was going to do the winter interview, and I had to
And
kill
you
him.
said, don't even bother with the blonde around the corner. It doesn't go well.
It doesn't. That's what he told me, and then I had to kill him.
Benji J on Twitter says, I guess that hand will make the edit. You think?
Probs.
And King Lucas says, I like the American dude that is talking super, super funny. His name is Lee Jones, and he is head of poker communications for PokerStars.
No, I think they mean the other American dude.
And Chris McFadden
You can follow me
says,
on Twitter at Stapes.
and Chris McFadden says, okay, I should have taken the over. Indeed.
We don't even know what you're talking about, but we're pretty sure you were.
Chris and I had a debate earlier on about how long this was going to go on for. He said that he was going to take the under on whatever the line was, and I said, I don't care where that line is, I'm taking the over.
Well, yeah, it's funny you should say that because remember Mike McDonald, Yahtzee.
Lunkin flops a very unlikely straight.
Seidel with not much of a hand. And he folds.
Frustrating.
Because Mike McDonald at the beginning of the day said it was going to go insta-fast.
I think that it would be over by now had it not been anyone but these two heads up.
That's probably true.
Put a couple of button clickers in their heads up, it all gets piled in.
Right, exactly.
Many times, not just that ace-10, ace-jack hand.
Button clickers is
some of these wizards.
Ricky says, I hope this will go on for a lot longer. I really don't want to go to work.
You know, Ricky, just go ahead, go to work. It's okay. You can watch the highlight reels with the edits and stuff.
Yeah, but think about it. If you don't go to work and lose your job, you can just watch EPT Live all the time.
Boom! Seidel raising ace-9 on the button.
It worked out for him last time.
He's got an affinity for it.
Yeah.
Lunken with 6-5 suited. Calls.
Can you imagine if we were doing this heads up with no hole cards? It would be W off B for sure by now.
Again with the ace-9, again with the 2-pair. Nothing much for Lunken. C-bet should work here.
This is going to work like every time, right? Yeah, it is. You know, it is interesting. I don't know what you guys have been experiencing with Lunken before, but you were talking about tanking. You know, they see. I think
It's
they're
picked
playing,
up. No,
they're,
it's picked
they're
up a
playing
lot.
fairly quickly.
It's definitely picked up a lot.
I mean, the hoodie and sunglasses crew. I mean, that would have been required a 3.5 minute tank. Decide, you know, which card he was going to throw in first.
Pair on Twitter says, actually, this would have been over 3 hours ago if that ace didn't flop. Should point out that that ace saw Lunken survive and take the chip lead. He's had that chip lead ever since. Damien says, hey, that guy has to go to work. He should go. He can come home, and this will still be going on.
There you go.
Good one.
Thank you very much.
So Vitaly raises to 400,000 total.
Lunken raising 810. Seidel folds.
Vitaly will win this.
How did you see? I wasn't clear that he had folded. It was just.
James and I have gotten trained at this point that we can actually just sense a slight twitch in the shoulder.
Exactly. That. Oh, it's the folding shoulder. That was all we needed.
Yeah.
We have seen 136 hands at this final table.
400 hands of heads up.
I mean, James, like, for whatever reason, I find this so much more interesting. Excuse me, than Copenhagen. Have I just like?
Yeah.
Oh no.
There's one reason why.
We are not
sitting directly to your left.
We are not in Copenhagen territory yet. But to be fair, there's two other factors as well. One of the players isn't a inebriated, intoxicated,
Drunk.
Danish guy, and the other one is not marching around the table singing Beatles songs.
I mean, we could do that if you want.
Wasn't a request.
We could get that.
Definitely not a request.
The alcoholic part,
Rauno says
really easily done.
Could we send a St. Louis Cards hat down to the table?
Rauno says, let the man with more hair win.
I thought this guy wrote the best tweet ever until I realized it was in Spanish. Rage pony killing all Russo. Pack of Spiebla.
So Vitaly raises to 400,000 total.
Rage pony killing Al Russo. Love it.
I want a rage pony.
Look at this voice. Look. Hello. We got a raise from Queen 3 and Seidel thinking about it with 10-5.
Why not? It is Sunday.
And look at this. Look at this.
Rebet.
Cheeky.
Eric has re-raised to 1,050,000.
DJ has gotten in touch. I've been watching the final table all day and have not got bored. It's one amazing final day for the high rollers. I agree, DJ. We're in here kind of playing up the fact that it's taken a while and having some fun with it, but this is great poker that we're seeing. This is an amazing tournament, tons of money on the line. They're playing for what?
220,000 euros.
Exactly, between first and second place. So,
oh, look at this. It's
I like
almost
your
dead
attitude,
even.
DJ.
That's what we're talking about.
Almost
This is
dead
some
even.
poker, boys and girls. And I mean...
1 1/4 big blinds between them.
I want you guys, I mean, seriously, Seidel was, came second to Johnny Chan in '88. So we're 25 years later. Quickly name anybody who has been anywhere near that top of the game for that period of time.
Stu Unger.
Doyle?
Starts with Eric, he raises to 400,000 total.
Oh, look at Seidel. You cheeky minx.
Yeah, well,
Eric.
see, now he's got some chips. He's like, yeah, I can get jiggy with it.
Did Lee Jones really just use the phrase "get jiggy with it"?
Yeah, but what's even funnier is imagining Eric actually getting jiggy with something.
Peter Stevens says, if I can make you laugh with a topical joke, can I get a card protector?
Yes.
There you go, Peter. The game is on.
Uncle Daddy's feeling generous.
Joe Stapleton says he is dealing in card protectors.
If it's topical humor, does that mean it's going to be about lotion? Come on. Nothing on that?
Nope.
Nada.
Tough crowd.
So with Vitaly, you raised to 400,000 total.
Did he say card humidifier
Makes the call on me, we'll see the flop.
instead of card protector?
Oh yeah, I missed that. Sorry.
Flop is
Well, that's a bizarre.
spade, ten of spades,
Uh-oh.
ace of diamonds.
Wahoo.
Eric stack first.
Second pair for Eric. Flush draw for Lunkin.
Ooh.
Flush means all of the same suit. Is that right?
Charlie bets 450,000.
Bet of 450,000 from the Rage Pony.
Eric makes the call. We go to the turn. Turn is the 4 of clubs.
Two
Oh,
pair
boy.
for Seidel.
Oh boy.
Charlie checks. We go to the river.
There's check, check.
10 of clubs.
Seidel's 2 pair counterfeited, though he does still have 2 pair.
You don't think he'd fold to a bet now, would he? Okay, good.
I don't think so, but the better question is Vitaly ever bluffing there?
Shows the king of clubs, 4 spades.
So Eric Seidel has retaken the chip lead.
With an ace-high kicker. Charlie folds, and Eric is
James, when the topical humor comes in, though, I want you to read it to me. I don't want to read it myself off Twitter.
Sure. I'm on it.
Because I think you'll give it your best effort. You know what I mean?
I will read it to the best of my ability,
Exactly.
as I do with every tweet that gets sent with the hashtag EPC Live. So for the first time since Seidel doubled up Lunkin in that Queens versus Ace-7 hand, Seidel is the chip leader. 7.36 million plays 5.39 million.
Look at all these tweets scrolling by the bottom of the screen. Thank you, Graphical
The
Mick.
commentary is not bad, too. There we go.
It's the nicest thing anyone said about my commentary today.
At least they didn't say no more analysis.
By the way, Lee, you know your question about someone who's been at the top of their game for that period of time? Edward Dalton says, as much as it pains me, Helmuth is kind of still kicking around.
Okay, fair enough.
Wow, that took a long... That was begrudging. Begrudging okay from Lee Jones. I think Phil Hellmuth's the best no-limit hold'em tournament player of all time.
So does Phil Hellmuth.
Hand 142. Make it a good one, please.
Ryan writes in with a funny joke. Are we going to see the sinking of the Lunkin Tanya? I like it.
So Vitaly, you raised to 400,000 total. Eric makes the call, me will
Now we're going to get to sweat the hand. I actually kind of really enjoy it.
flop is
Every once in a while I can deal with this.
Yeah.
checks.
Lunkin raised the button this hand. Seidel defending. Lunkin continues.
You know what you were saying about commenting on the heads-up action with no hole cards?
Yeah.
Well, you got your wish, Stapes. Well done.
Is that a check raise?
Sure was.
Wahoo! I was just about to ask you guys if we'd seen a check raise the whole time.
Raised to 900,000 total.
A min check raise. So awesome. I wish I weren't here and Steve Silverman were.
Just 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Let me see both your cards back. Vitaly folds, and Eric will win this pot.
3-4 offsuit. Seidel wins it. Still waiting for this topical joke. Just saying.
He's trying to think of one.
You think he would have
going on Google for topical
I
jokes.
thought that he would have had a topical joke in mind already.
I figured it was on standby and ready to hit send.
No, I think he's now looking.
The longer we wait, the better it's got to be,
he's
by the way.
Googling topical jokes as we speak.
If it's a joke about ointment, I will give you extra points, though.
Sean Stewart says, what a match, with 3 exclamation points. JP says it's about time for the chop pot song. Oh God, no, this is one situation where no one would love a chop pot.
Look at this. These guys are really starting to open up their game.
They kind of have to, or they're just going to see the blinds catch up with them and be forced all in.
Italia's re-race to 980,000 total.
Seidel asking for a count in response to Lunkin's 3-bet.
Boy, Seidel's really taking the lead here, huh?
Eric makes the call, and you will see the flop.
Seidel calls.
The flop is king of diamonds, king of hearts.
Yappy.
Seidel flops an up and down draw. Lunkin with the flush draw. Ace of hearts on the turn.
One time. What happens when the ace of hearts peels off?
Charlie checks.
Gotta think Eric might check.
Checks, we go to the turn. Turn is the 6 of clubs. Charlie bets 1.8 million.
Well, that's most of his stack.
Charlie will win this pot.
And that'll win him the pot.
Very cautious poker being played here.
Razorheart says, stop whining about the length of the heads-up match. You guys just want to go to the party. Number 1, we're not whining. Number 2, there is no party tonight. Willie's got some topical humour. Okay, Stapes, you ready?
All right.
I'm not sure if I've seen that cathedral in Barcelona before, but it looks familiar.
Well, I got Lee laughing.
Yeah, I mean,
by the way, the offer was only for the fella who said, if I send you topical humor and you laugh, will you send me it? It does not open for everyone.
He's clearly switched off. Johnny wants to have a go. He's got a topical joke.
Okay.
The Greek government is in such trouble they've halted production of hummus and tara masalata. It's a double dip recession. Now that was a genuine belly laugh. You got to give Johnny something for that.
All right, Johnny, you can have a card protector. Johnny,
guys, on the screen here, we've got a real hand. At least one of them.
Email nuts at PokerStars.tv. One real hand.
We don't know what Seidel has.
Maybe Seidel doesn't know what Seidel has.
Seidel
Did he just say all in?
He probably knows what he has.
Yeah. You want to call? You definitely want to call with kings.
Gulp.
I'm figuring Seidel does not have aces from that expression. Pocket sixes. Well, we're about to see another huge momentum shift here. We're going to be back to where things were. Lunkin playing 10.5 million. Seidel playing 2.2 million.
80% of the time.
And we go to the flop.
Whoops.
The 5 of clubs, 2 of spades.
Always a sweat.
Seidel picks up more outs.
Seidel needs a 6 or a 3.
And if he hits it, this is over.
Those are the cards Lunkin needs to fade if he is to double up here and take the monster chip lead.
And the turn? Turn is the 10 of hearts.
Same out for Seidel with one card to come. A 6 or a 3, and he wins it. Any other card, we play on. We play on.
Italia, our all-in player, is going to double up.
Seidel, not only do we play on, but Seidel left with 11 big blinds. Cold deck heads up. Eric Seidel in very bad shape right now. Tali Lunkin on the verge of closing this thing out.
83% of the chips in play.
Yeah. By the way, do you know where the expression cold deck comes from?
I do, actually, and I think either you or Neil Johnson are the one who explained it to me.
Yeah.
For those of you who out there don't know what it is, Lee's going to tell you.
Yeah, basically, the reason it's called a cold deck is because it's a cheating term, and it comes from the fact that a deck can be slipped into the game.
Another word for it is setup.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, it's like you have a deck preset to generate a certain hand layout, and you slip it into the game. And the reason it's called a cold deck is because it hasn't been in the dealer's hand, and so it's still cooled at the touch.
It's literal.
Yeah, it's quite literal in its origin.
Francesca's being optimistic. She says, don't worry, Seidel, you will come back. What, he's done it before?
I think he was really, really short at another point in this tournament. Yesterday or the day before.
Look at him smile. Do you know, I'll never forget the interview that they did with Chris Moneymaker, and they asked him how he could be so cool when Stanley Farha was staring him down during that massive bluff. And he said, I was sitting there thinking about the fact that I was going to come in second and all of my financial worries were over. Eric's sitting there thinking, no matter what happens today, I'm taking home €500,000.
Absolutely. Not a bad spot to be in.
Yeah. I'm going to have an awesome day or an incredibly awesome day. Take your pick.
Brian says 11 big blinds to Seidel is like 100 big blinds to an average player. Strong.
So Seidel on the ropes once again. As we move on to hand 145. Still 100-200 with a 30K ante.
But this one's going to, this is going to go like bang, bang at this point, one way or another.
Seidel's in all fold territory.
Not going to see a lot of calling here.
Always good to calm yourself down with a chicken impersonation. He shoves from the button.
Go ahead and look at your cards, Vitaly, if you don't mind. That's cool.
That's
Just-
probably enough.
Just stack
Oh,
them
yeah.
up. Go ahead.
I call.
I call. I've
King
got ace.
queen for Seidel, ace-5 for Lunken. So Lunken leads with ace-high, but Seidel has got 2 live cards, and once again, it's pretty close to a flip. If the best hand holds here, Vitaly Lunken will be crowned champion.
And if not, we play on.
That should do it.
Running cards needed for Eric Seidel. Lunken a 98% favorite to seal the deal.
And the turn is the 8 of clubs. No good for
It's
Eric.
over on the turn. Eric Seidel is the runner-up. Vitaly Lunken is the winner of the EPT 10 50K Super High Roller here in Barcelona.
Man, Eric Seidel can just not win one of these things. How many final tables have we seen him at? Now, second, I think, is his best finish that we've seen for him in a super high roller. He's usually out in like 5th and 4th and 6th. He's going to close one out eventually, that's for sure.
Повезло. Ну, правда, Эрику только же он 5 раз тащил монетки перед этим, блин. То есть, в принципе,
Lunken celebrating with his rail. He wins 771,300 euros.
And there are going to be a lot of loud shirts getting drunk tonight.
Vodka sales in Barcelona are going to be really up this evening. The Vodka Association of Barcelona is going to be like, what happened to our sales on September 1st?
By the way, Eric Seidel's consolation prize is in the region of 560,000 euros.
That's my kind of consolation prize, isn't it?
So Lunken is the champion. If you're watching our coverage yesterday, he became dominant chip leader in the tournament. Came into the final table as one of the big stacks, and now he's closed this thing out after a reasonably long heads-up battle against Eric Seidel. 145 hands at the final table, and victory to the Russian, Vitaly Lunken. Here's how it finished. Timothy Adams was the first man out of the final table, but remember, only the top 7 got paid. Fabian Quass, min cashing for nearly 130,000. Ola Shemian started the day
cashing.
started the day as chip leader. He finished in 6th. Benefield, he can now focus on the final table of the World Series main event. He exits with 208,000 euros for finishing 5th. Mike McDonald out in 4th. 3rd for O'Dwyer, 2nd for Seidel. Lunken is the winner.
You know what really burns me up about this is I bet those pesky Russian commentators are going to hold this over our heads for the rest of the week now.
Listen, the vodka sales are already going up in the Russian commentary section.
So smug over there with their bright pink shirts and their green shoes and their man
silly
purses.
Russian dances.
This is probably a good opportunity for us to thank Lee Jones for this extended edition of Lee's Lowdown.
Yeah, all right, sure.
This has been a blast, guys. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Lee.
Not at all. So just to confirm what's happened here, Lunken's won. We're going to have the winner's presentation in just a moment, but remember, from tomorrow, it's all about the main event. The Super High Roller is over. Lunken's done it. He's taken the title. He's going to lift that trophy. He's going to get that 771,000 euros. We are back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central European Time with coverage of Day 1B of the main event. You're going to get to see a feature table every single day right through until Saturday when we bring you every single hand from the final table. And for that final table webcast next Saturday, once again, it's whole cards up. 1 hour delay on the picture, live commentary so we can work our way through your emails and your tweets. But you will get whole cards. For the rest of the week, it's going to be whole cards down. There's still going to be great coverage. Lee will be back. We'll have various members of Team Pro, lots of guests, more competitions, more opportunities for you to win one of those card protectors. A reminder that the competition that continues is for you to send your questions for a Q&A that we're doing with Daniel Negreanu later in the week. The best question we received, nuts at pokerstars.tv, will see its author awarded one of those commemorative EPT 10 card protectors.
And don't tweet your questions in for Daniel. Email them. We want you to email them. They will get lost in the sauce if you tweet them. Email nuts at pokerstars.tv.
Plus, of course, we're going to do spot prizes during the week if you send through a particularly entertaining or interesting tweet. Plus, of course, don't forget hashtag #MugStapes. If you're in Barcelona and you see Joe walking about, ask him for a car protector. If he hasn't given one away already that day, you will win one.
Not if you're a guy with money, though, seriously. If you're like a guy that plays the main events, buys your own way in, or plays the super high rollers, you're not getting it. Uncle Daddy likes to spread it around down below, if you know what I mean.
So a reminder, the winners' ceremony is coming up, but we'll be back tomorrow for the main event, 4 p.m. Central European time, for live coverage of Day 1B. We're about to see Vitaly Lunkin lift that trophy, but from Joe Stapleton and me, James Hartigan, it's good night from Barcelona.
Welcome everyone to the trophy presentation of the European Poker Tour Season 10 Barcelona Super High Roller. Joining me on stage are Edgar Stuchli, President of the European Poker Tour, and Gerard Sagada, Poker Room Manager for Casino Barcelona. We had 51 players combined for a prize pool of almost 2.5 million euro. But in every poker tournament, one player is going to come out on top. And this week, 771,300 euro richer. Let's have a big round of applause for Vitaly Lunkin.